The president said that you should resign and the vice president said you should be held accountable for your views. Can you respond to that?
No, thank you.
Hear Representative Omar say, "Oh, America's a terrible place. I thought there'd be justice, and there's no justice here." And it's like, well, she came here and we fed her, we clothed her, she got welfare, she got school, she got health care. And then, lo and behold, she has the honor of actually winning a seat in Congress. And she says we're a terrible country. I think that's about as ungrateful as you can get. And so while I'm not saying we forcibly send her anywhere, I'm willing to contribute to buy her a ticket to go visit Somalia.
Congresswoman Omar, Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez, Congresswoman Tlaib, Congresswoman Presley, I think is her name. They call themselves the Squad. I consider them to be fools. They hate America. They think America was wicked in its origins, and it's even more wicked today. They ought to be thanking America instead of calling America evil and wicked and racist.
I take a little bit of offense to what the hell is wrong with me. I'll tell you, there's nothing wrong with me. I took an oath to defend the Constitution, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Again, I'm not going to apologize.
This is a quiet beginning of the entire conflict. A direct question is asked, one that carries political weight and public consequence. The president and vice president have both called for accountability, and the response is not outrage, not rebuttal, not clarification, but silence. Silence in politics is not passive. It's a calculated move. When a public official declines to respond at the exact moment clarity is required, it creates a vacuum, and that vacuum gets filled by interpretation. Viewers are left wondering whether the silence reflects confidence, avoidance, or an unwillingness to engage with consequence.
The president trafficked.
What is wrong with you?
Well, I'm asking you a question about your tweet. You had a tweet saying the president trafficked in hate.
Yes, I tweeted. There's a response. You can run that and have a nice day.
Why can't you explain more what you meant to say?
Leadership and voice will not be diminished if I am not on this committee for one term. My voice will get louder and stronger, and my leadership will be celebrated around the world as it has been.
Today's resolution, as it relates to Representative Omar, details 6 statements she made as a sitting member of Congress that under the totality of the circumstances disqualify her from serving on the Committee on Foreign Affairs.
I'm in a town where we have a lot of people who are refugees who have come, some from Somalia, some from Bosnia. I've never heard one of them say that America's a terrible place or be unappreciative of our country. Most of them are thankful. I've met people who've come here from behind the Iron Curtain that got away from communism. They're some of the best Americans we have because they really appreciate how great our country is. And then I hear Representative Omar say, "Oh, America's a terrible place. I thought there'd be justice, and there's no justice here." And it's like, well, she came here and we fed her, we clothed her, she got welfare, she got school, she got health care. And then, lo and behold, she has the honor of actually winning a seat.
The discussion shifts here from personalities to values. Senator Kennedy outlines a narrative many Americans immediately recognize. A country that opens its doors, provides opportunity, and offers a path not just survival, but to leadership. The tension isn't about whether America is perfect. It comes down to perspective. The public's response is not only disagreement, but also disbelief when a person describes a country as fundamentally unjust after rising from refugee status to Congress seat. This time, a deeper emotional divide exists between criticism aimed at reform and rejectionist rhetoric.
Congress, and she says we're a terrible country. I think that's about as ungrateful as you can get. And so while I'm not saying we forcibly send her anywhere, I'm willing to contribute to buy her a ticket to go visit Somalia. And I think she could look and maybe learn a little bit about the disaster that is Somalia, that has no capitalism, has no God-given rights guaranteed in a constitution, and has about 7 different tribes that have been fighting each other for the last 40 years. And then maybe after she's visited Somalia for a while, she might come back and appreciate America more.
You know, when you argue with a fool, you just prove there are two. And I consider Congresswoman Omar, Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez, Congresswoman Tlaib, Congresswoman Presley, I think is her name. They call themselves the Squad. I consider them to be fools. They hate America. They think America was wicked in its origins, and it's even more wicked today. They ought to be thanking America instead of calling America evil and wicked and racist. But this is America, and they have the right to their opinion. But I don't like to see the president even dignify their point of view. Besides that, I think that
This segment reframes a conflict as a question of allegiance not to party, not to popularity, but to the Constitution. Because of the principle, Kennedy's words are blunt. There is no place in public office for complaining. It's a responsibility bound by oath. When he says he will not apologize, it's not defiance for its own sake. It's a declaration that some commitments are non-negotiable. The audience is forced to choose between emotional alignment and institutional integrity at this point.
Squad, as they call themselves, they are destroying the Democratic Party. You know, when your opponent is screwing up, don't interrupt him. Let him go. Just looking at this from a political standpoint, if I didn't know better, I would think the members of the Squad were GOP plants. They think that illegal immigration, socialism, higher taxes, abortion are all moral goods. They think America, Israel, free enterprise are moral bads. That's not what most Americans believe. And that's kind of where I am on the subject. The president has explained his position. He has said, look, here's what I meant. If you're not happy living in America, leave. It's a free country, and I agree with that assessment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And to use that logic, well, then all those people should have just said sorry and we'd move on, right? But no, we don't do that.
Accusations carry power, but only when they're anchored in explanation. A serious charge of calling a president a trafficker of hate necessitates evidence, context, or at the very least clarification. Instead, when pressed, the conversation ends. This is a moment of credibility, not just a missed opportunity. Political language has become increasingly incendiary, but without follow-through, it risks becoming performative. Viewers aren't reacting to the accusation itself. They are reacting because there is nothing substantial behind it.
And let me tell you, I take a little bit of offense to what the hell is wrong with me. I'll tell you, there's nothing wrong with me. I took an oath to defend the Constitution, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Again, I'm not going to apologize for it. I'm going to hold the Constitution, and it's very simple. We really shouldn't even have this debate. If you break the law and you follow due process, there are consequences to your actions, even if you say sorry. So we can try all of the diversion tactics that we would like. It doesn't change the fact that someone broke the law and that someone should be held accountable. It is disappointing, Mr. Speaker, that their own party can't hold them accountable, that they have such hypocrisy.
Representative can say whatever the heck she wants, but we don't have to accept it or embrace it. Individuals who hold such hateful views should rightly be barred